13, 18, 12, 13 and 18. Oh, 13, 18 and 4. Get to those. And good morning, everybody. You join me trying to figure out which contracts I want to get done. Turn details on. And I think 4, 12, 13, 18. They're right across the street. And I need to pop up time. We need to get a move on because the rain is due at 9 o'clock. Can I squeeze out of that gap? Everybody close your eyes and breathe in. Whoa, yes I can. Nice. Okay, we're going to take the Massey Ferguson because it's the smallest of our tractors that can theoretically run the cultivator, which is that thing that's unloaded in there. So, it is Saturday after Independence Day. And we did have an episode on Thursday morning where we got everything to do with our new biggest field seeded. I did end up rolling it as well into the night, and that is now a field of barley. How about we push that button there? That's a good button to push. And we'll drive past it right here. Oh, sun's coming up. So, entire field got rolled. It pretty much took us all afternoon to seed it. So that's a big job. Should be a good yielding job too. So 4 is to our right, 12 is immediately on our left. So that field there needs to be cultivated. And all I'm going to do is run around cultivating all of these fields and getting paid for them because we're down to £1,500. And that's not a good thing. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to the stream. My name is Osa. And we are playing Farming Simulator 22 against the clock. Because things are about to happen. I mean, everything I need to do on my farm is good. However, money is in a dire position at the moment, and we do have 2 loans. One is very big and one is 25,000, which was just meant to get us through yesterday. Don't really want to take out another one. So while the tractor does a little bit of driving around and tractoring, I need to fish the tea bag out of my mug, or actually Mrs. Osa's mug, because teenage Osa's gone back to her own ways, and is putting my mug on the bottom in spite of the fact I'm the only one who really uses my mug, and nobody uses Mrs. Osa's mug. But anyway, I'll just use the one at the top. I'm not a proud man. So Thursday night we went to see a fireworks show, and it didn't work. Turns out the fireworks got wet, so after an hour of trying to get the show off the ground, they sent everyone home. And we gave it 20 minutes, and it's like, okay, not seeing any fireworks going off, something's obviously wrong. It's been raining all afternoon, so maybe it's all gone bad and there isn't one this year. Yeah, they just cancelled it. Well, they postponed it till Friday. And then on Friday, from about 7 o'clock, it rained heavily, and there was little bits of thunder and lightning, scattered thunderstorms basically. So we'd already decided I'm not going to try again. Well, once the rain started falling, it was like probably a good idea we didn't try again. It has been raining all night. The windows are covered in drops of rain and the ground is soaked, which means Mrs. Osa won't be able to do mowing the grass today, which she did have planned, unless it's really hot. And right now it is 68 degrees and cloudy, so I don't think it's going to be really hot. Today, so the ground's not going to dry up. The problem is without calendar over the coming weeks, she needs to mow the grass this weekend because next week Teenage Osa's not here, so won't have any time. Not this coming week, the weekend after. There's a lot on, and then Teenage Osa's out of town, and then I think the weekend after she's planning to go to Ohio, so no time to cut the grass then. And we can generally go about 2 weeks, and then it kind of needs to get done. So we'll see how her plans alter this coming week. I haven't looked at the report for the coming week, so I don't really know what we're looking at for the rest of the week. But for right now, don't think anything's going to work. I believe early next week I've got the basement inspector coming. We did have a contractor in to take a look at some work we've got that needs doing, and he's obviously Independence Day. He's not working the next 2 days or the previous 3 days, and he is on vacation this coming week. So I'm not going to know anything until Monday week anyway. And of course, we also don't know what his schedule's going to be like, so yeah, don't know when the work's going to get done. But we'll be able to have a list of this is how much things are going to cost. Which things do we want to do? Now, normally, what we've done in the past is we've usually said, okay, quote us for a couple of big jobs and a whole bunch of small jobs. Sometimes Mrs. Osa's of the opinion that we should do all of the small jobs because it makes it feel like lots of work's been done. But then other times it's like, well, if we save up $5,000, we can knock out 2 or 3 small jobs, and it's easy to save up $5,000. What it's not easy to do is to save up $25,000 and do a big job. So if we've got the money for a big job, I kind of want to knock that out because it's the thing that will be delayed the most if we don't do it right away. So, good morning, long hauler. I've just started my first cup of Earl Grey today, and yes, I do still eat baked beans. Baked beans is a breakfast food. You can also have it on toast as a snack. Unfortunately, we're currently out of baked beans, and they have to be Heinz. Yeah, what was it? Independence Day. Mrs. Osa had plans for we'll do burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and what else? Baked beans, and we've got coleslaw, so she didn't want to eat potato salad. But she said she did have a box of pasta salad, which she wanted to eat. So she went looking in the cupboard, and there were no baked beans. No American baked beans, no British baked beans. Completely out of baked beans. Haven't tried that. Actually, I have come across a couple of YouTube recipes on how to make genuine British baked beans. And it's not so much the baked beans, it's the sauce. You have to get the sauce right. My palate, I don't really go in for what is it? Sweet, savoury food. So I'm not a big fan of sweet barbecue and things like that. But if I'm going to have barbecue, I like the sort of the southern spicy barbecue, as opposed to the stuff loaded with brown sugar or whatever. Really not a fan of that, which is why I'm not really a big fan of American baked beans, because they tend to be loaded up with sugar. Now, it's not that I don't like sugar. I like cakes, I like cookies, I like candy. I just don't like my sort of my entrees tasting like they should be in a candy jar. So, Kroger B&M. I can look that up, I guess. That may be a thing. We currently got I currently loaded Mrs. Osa's Amazon cart with an order for Heinz baked beans and Heinz tomato soup. She had something else on which I thought she was just saving up some time until she had a couple more things in the cart, but she's not really made any effort to order that stuff, so I don't know. I'm not in a hurry either. I don't mind if I don't have baked beans in the house. It's just sometimes, and they are kind of expensive, so they're not like I'm going to have baked beans on toast as a snack regularly. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut in the middle of the field so I can start doing larger, wider circles here. Don't have to spend time turning the tractor around at each end of the field. So that bit done. Drive down here and turn in there. That seems like a good place to turn. So now I'll be able to do east side of each row. Yeah, and they don't make, the problem is their baked beans are quite a unique recipe, and it seems you can only get them from England. They don't make them here, in spite of they make all of the other ingredients in America. They don't do Heinz baked beans in America for some reason. when Mrs. Osa has to have, when we've only got Heinz baked beans in the house, I have to help myself first, because Mrs. Osa then throws a couple of spoons of sugar in it. So, back when we got married, I did complain quite a lot because she put sugar in almost everything. And it's like, no, I can't eat this. It's way too sweet for my palate. Now she does put a spoon of sugar in sort of pasta dishes, spaghetti, anything that has marinara sauce, she'll put sugar in. But it's not, it's there, but it's not overwhelming. Now there was a time her sister decided she was going to go and live in Washington State, and families from Ohio. So we all went down to Ohio to see her off, and she made spaghetti, and it was completely unedible. I mean, I watched her. She emptied half a canister. She entered, just threw sugar in, poured it in. She didn't even spoon it. And I took one taste, and it's like, no, I can't eat this at all. But like I said, I like my stuff savoury. Tomatoes tend to have a slightly acidic taste, which is why Mrs. Osa tends to throw sugar in to things in tomato sauce. But I've been used to, just eating tomatoes as they come. And so it never crossed my mind to throw sugar in to spaghetti or anything else like that. I mean, when it boils down to it, my favourite food is Indian food, which tends to be incredibly spicy. I can't do Indian desserts. Indian desserts are incredibly sweet. Even for a dessert, no, I can't do that. It's just way too sweet. And then again, even some cakes. Some people make a cake and it's like, oh no, no. And my other quirk is I don't do peanut butter in anything except peanut butter on toast, on bread, or whatever. Salt on tomatoes is a thing, but sugar, I'm really not into that. Also, when I was young, I wasn't a particular fan of tomatoes. I would eat them when they came on burgers, but I wouldn't seek out tomatoes to put on things. And I think the thing is, like a lot of condiments that you put in sandwiches or whatever, if I go to a deli restaurant that's making gourmet sandwiches, or if I'm going to Subway or wherever, I will have tomatoes on my sandwich. But I won't buy tomatoes to put on sandwiches at home. And the reason for that is they just don't last long enough. As soon as you cut one, you really need to eat it in a couple of days, and it's like I'm not really going to eat it in a couple of days. So I end up throwing things out. I don't like buying things that I'm just going to throw out because I haven't eaten all of them. I get very annoyed when I go and buy, bread from a store, and it's mouldy the next morning. It's like, really? like I bought some sub buns to have sandwiches in, and I've had 2, Teenage Osa's had 1, there's 3 left. Mrs. Osa's already pointed out there's a lot of moisture in the bag, so they're probably not going to live much beyond today or tomorrow. Now fortunately I'll have 1 each day until they're all gone, but if the rest of the family don't have sandwiches in a sub bun, then yeah, we'll be throwing at least 1 of those away. Cucumber, I eat cucumber, but again, I'm the only one in the house that likes cucumber. Teenage Osa likes a cucumber in gross juice on her burgers, but and she'll eat them straight out of the jar. But I don't like pickles. I do like yeah, I will. I'm not going to say I like cucumbers. I will eat cucumbers with a salad, but I won't buy a cucumber because I know I'm going to throw at least half of it away, so there's not a lot of point. So I do take the opportunities at times to eat things I won't normally stock at home if I'm out at a restaurant, because it's the only chance I get to eat them. So sometimes I'll even go to a restaurant and just have a salad, because there's a lot of stuff on a salad that I just won't stock at home because I won't eat it far enough. The colour of the tie clip on the bread tells you what day it was baked on. Yeah, but even then it's not. It's not just that. If we, our sandwich loaves, we'll go to Sam's and buy sort of multi-packs, and I'll throw them in the freezer. But when I get bread out of the freezer, I'll stick it on the countertop and let it completely thaw and dry out. Because if you don't do that, it's going to retain moisture on the bag and possibly in the bag, and you're going to end up with mouldy bread in a couple of days. If I take it out and I'll stick it on the counter and I'll leave it for a couple of hours, and then I'll flip it over so the bottom can dry out, and it all ends up thawing out evenly, bread will last me 4 or 5 days straight out of the freezer. But if I don't do that, it'll last me a day and a half before it's all green and stuff. So you've got to if you take care of your food, it's going to last a long time. But there are some things where there's no point. It might last a long time, but chances are I'm going to throw some of it away. But I do agree with having last year we grew lettuce, which I normally don't buy, but I do enjoy having lettuce on my sandwiches, and we grew tomatoes. So you can go out, you can pick a tomato, you can pick a couple of leaves off a piece of lettuce and stick them in a sandwich, and the next day you can use the rest of the fresh tomato and a few more leaves that you picked that day. So it's kind of like having a fresh food pantry in the backyard. This year we've grown a ton of potatoes. Mrs. Osa declared yesterday that actually this is going to be quite good, because you don't have to harvest your potatoes. You can go out, you can dig up a plant, you can use those potatoes in your meal, and you can leave the rest of the potatoes in the ground until the frosts come. Frosts do not do good for potatoes, but we've got potatoes to last us a couple of months there. Actually, not the rate Mrs. Osa likes potatoes, but potentially we can just go out dig up a plant and use the potatoes on that plant, and that's a meal. And we don't have to disturb the other plants and then worry about the potatoes going bad. But yeah, I'm Mrs. Osa sort of has these dreams. Oh, she wants to grow corn and she wants to grow peas and carrots and beans. And my view, typically, and yeah, my dad used to grow vegetables in the garden, but typically the vegetables you can grow in a small plot is enough for a meal. With our peas, I think we had a handful of peas, which we then had to mix with frozen peas in order to actually make enough for one meal for all of us. So it's not like you can grow a lot of peas, or you can grow a lot of beans, or you can grow a lot of corn, not unless you have a few acres of ground. But you can grow a good supply of tomatoes and a good supply of lettuce. Good supply, and actually no, we did quite well with our hot peppers last year. Good supply of hot peppers, because hot peppers tend to be small, and the little shrubs that they grow on just produce a ton of them. We actually ended up with some of ours never made it. Okay. Why am I on cows? Let's go there. Let's go completed, that one. Let's get paid. And I think 13 is our next field, which is the next one over. Fill that up. But no, we have a cellar. We don't have a root cellar, but we could probably store potatoes down there. I like the idea of growing stuff that we'll eat, but that we're not, we don't eat in sufficient quantities to, go shopping and buying every week. And that's, it varies, it varies the diet a bit, and provides additional flavours. I think we bought tomatoes last year, and so I ate some in sandwiches and some on hamburgers, and all of the normal things. But we had a lot, and so Mrs. Osa blended them up and turned them into a sort of a tomato marinara type sauce. We stuck them in the freezer and they're still in there. So it's sort of, we don't want to produce too many because I'm not going to eat them all. And yes, you can make things out of them, but they just sit in the basement and never get used. So But yeah, when it comes, we didn't plant lettuce this year. I don't know why we didn't plant lettuce this year, but not one of the crops we bothered with. And we didn't plant tomatoes. I think the plan was we were going to, but we kind of let the calendar get away from us. And so